And loud.
What's that thing?
What is that thing? The thing is Octavio.
Octavio. What does that do?
Well, it was they actually only do one thing. It's like if you play down here, they don't work. If you play anywhere on the neck pickup, they don't work. If you play two notes together, they don't function. It's a really strange device. Okay, and it excels. Like if you have the neck pickup and you play single notes up here. I mean, if you play double notes up here, it doesn't know which note to get. See? But if you play single notes, and if you come down here, or the bridge. It's just a mess, you know. But it did a certain thing, and Jimi Hendrix used it for a certain thing, and other people used it too, but copies of them, because, for instance, in that song on the record, nobody even knows what that pedal was. Like, there's probably, I know there's one guy in this world that knows, the guy that made it, and by all possible reports from people talking, is it was some sort of two-piece unit that had a separate power supply, right, in a separate chassis, and it was transformer driven. It wasn't like this one. It's a long story, but this one is a copy. Dunlop made this one a few years ago. They went to the Hall of Fame and grabbed the one out of the Hall of Fame and reverse engineered it. But don't quote me on this, but I believe the guy that invented these claims that wasn't one of Jimi's.
Okay, it's not much to look at.
Was one he, yeah, I know. It was one he made for somebody else, right? And I forget who. But and if you guys know any more about this than me, good to post it in, because this is fascinating. It's a fascinating little bizarre effect that only does one strange little thing.
What does it do?
Well, it sort of plays the octave, but in a very weird way.
It like mirrors it in a different octave?
Yeah, and with fuzz. And see, what happened is, people used to steal things. Like if you went out to play live, there wasn't pedal boards. Your pedals would be in a bag, and you just line them out on the stage. And these always came up missing on Jimi, right? So if Roger made 3 or 4 of these, Hendrix would have a concert to do, and he'd have to call Roger and say, "Could you please make me one?" And Roger was busy doing other things, and okay, then he had to make them. He didn't remember exactly how he made it, or he was messing with a new idea. So these were all different. The ones Hendrix used live were different than the one. That one has a certain sound in that record, and this one doesn't really sound like it. And nobody even knows what that one was. But
it's on Reverb for $500,000.
Oh, it's probably not one of those. The one that's on there for $450,000. But if that in fact is a real one of Hendrix's Octavio, like he claims, then I would say it's worth that to a museum or somebody.
Well, I'd like to have it.
Me too. But so this one is more a copy of the one he used with Band of Gypsies. Okay, and that's closer to the one that's in the Hall of Fame. I forget who it belongs to. I want to think Ronnie Wood, but I'm probably wrong about that.
So it's called Octavio?
Have to correct me. Yeah.
Or Octavio?
Octavio.
Octavius? Like the Caesar?
So my clean sound from there, I had the amps on 9 o'clock. Okay? Going in trouble. Fairly warm sound. It's kind of loud, you know, but my clean sound from there. And I was using my gain master to get, you know, my
Octavio. Jimi Hendrix, Purple Haze.
Tone Talk.
About
Octavio.
The Octavio. There we go.
Fun. Few people make them, you know, there's all different versions of them. There was a Tycho Brahe version that was from a long time ago that was apparently a copy of one of Hendrix's. But the fascinating thing, again, is that original one that was used in the studio that one day on that one record, and by all accounts came up missing, and Roger says he never made another one like that. And you know, I've never read anywhere where he tells anybody what it actually was, but why should he, right?
Or what it's supposed to do. Or
well,
it's true.
You know what it's supposed to do, just listen to the record.
Well,
but until you play one, you realize, holy
they have
crap,
names.
you
Well, they have
can't do
names
all
for all these other things, you know, flangers and different things. But
right, well, Octavio. But
so if anybody
when you start
likes
playing
this,
one, you realize it only does that one thing: single note lines, neck pickup up high on the neck, and it does it. He also used it on a couple songs in the band of Gypsies. And sometimes he turned it on when he was just going wild and had everything on all at once, and it was just like
all four pedals.
Yeah, you've heard me do that with this. It's loud. It's like a million banshees all screaming at the same time.
So when you did the three pedals before, the trio of pedals,
that's the one we left out.
So there was actually four pedals.
Yeah, and he didn't always have one of these. This is the funny thing about this is he was beholden to Roger making him one, because people would grab these off the stage, steal them.
Because he was too busy doing other things to pay attention to his gear.
These weren't in the store. See, this wasn't. You couldn't go buy like a Univibe.
Well, you would think. I mean,
you couldn't go down to Manny's on 48th Street and buy this. Roger had to make it for you. So he didn't always have one of these.
I'd be telling the roadies, like, okay, and make sure nobody nicks the thing, okay?
So that's the story of the Octavio. There's a lot of information online. You could read more about it than I'm telling you, but.
All right.
Well. Tone Talk. Peace out.